Hello and welcome back to another fantastic episode of Any Given Podcast. I'm just your only host for tonight, Ethan Simpson. Brendan Ward is currently out on his honeymoon, so I will be taking the reins tonight. I'm the captain now. Speaking of classic movies, over the weekend I was at two separate weddings, and both times I got a couple comments made towards me. Um, the first one was looking very sharp, hair's looking on point, and then the second one was, "Hey, what's wrong, man? Uh, you not having a good time? What's wrong? You upset?" And after 2 days of hearing that, I finally decided, you know what? I'm sick of people asking me, "Why aren't you smiling? Why aren't you smiling? You should smile more." Well, guess what? I'm smiling now, aren't I? I'm permanently smiling, baby. All right. All right, enough Joker jokes going on around here. We are going to get right into it. Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield finally got traded. Baker Mayfield is no longer a Cleveland Brown. Yes, they have finally made the trade. I know this is breaking news, right? This is blowing everybody's mind. I'm breaking the news to you right now. But since we didn't have a show for the past 2 weeks, here I am breaking the news to you. Baker Mayfield gets traded to the Carolina Panthers for a seventh round pick. A seventh round pick for a first round overall, and the Cleveland Browns paid for next year's contract salary, part of it, not the full, not the full. How how are we still feeling about Andrew Berry? Is Andrew Berry, is he the genius everybody's been saying he is after this trade? Was it, I mean, it was inevitable, but how do you feel? Because I'm just, I was almost speechless when I saw what the Cleveland Browns got back for Baker Mayfield. A number 1 overall draft pick. Another number 1 overall draft pick wasted, flushed down the toilet. And whose fault is it to really blame? Do we point the fingers at the Haslams? Do we point our fingers at Baker Mayfield? Who do we point our fingers at here? Honestly, Baker's numbers were there. Maybe his interception numbers were a little too much there, but they were still there. He produced on the field. He won games. He won us our first playoff game in how many years? And people were so quick to throw him, toss him to the wolves, throw him in the trash, get him out of here. Because of a bad season, because of an injury. I don't know. We'll see what happens now. Because we have to move forward. I mean, the ink is already dried on Deshaun Watson. So that is the future of the Cleveland Browns right there. Is Deshaun Watson and whatever happens here. Because there still hasn't been a final say on what is to come. Is he going to be suspended for 2 games, 4 games, a whole season, 2 seasons? We don't know. And we really don't. And when will we find out? Are they going to elongate this whole thing until the first preseason game? Or are they going to let him play in the preseason, let everybody get their hopes up, and then throw down that suspension? because I know damn well that Jacoby Brissett is not the answer we're looking for. Josh Dobbs is not the answer we're looking for. So what do we do here? We already have $250 million invested into this man, and we don't know if he's gonna play yet. it's I hate to say it, but same old Browns. There's always next year, right? If he gets this 1 year suspension, there's always next year. We got him. He'll come back. He'll come back and play. No problem, right? There's always next year. The classic Cleveland sports motto. I'm sick of it, to be honest. I, I'm assuming the folks at home are too. Now, there is speculation going around about Baker Mayfield and what he was doing off the field and in the locker room. Nobody really went to bat for him during this whole situation. So obviously, there are things that have not been released to the public. But were they that bad? Really, were they that bad that you go out and spend $250 million on a quarterback whose future you don't know? You don't know if he'll ever touch artificial turf again. Really. We don't know that. No criminal charges were filed. But yet, here we are still debating, well, what are we going to what is the NFL going to do? What are they going to do with Deshaun Watson? Let me tell you what, folks. It's going to be a long next 6 weeks. Not even. Until the start of the season, we're all going to be sitting there on our hands, waiting for somebody to make a decision on the future of the Cleveland Browns. We went in there and we already let me backpedal. They went in there and they already filled the spot, the empty hole left by Odell Beckham Jr. and Jarvis Landry. They went out and got Amari Cooper. I love it. I've always liked Amari Cooper. I liked him when he was in Oakland. I liked him when he was in Dallas. But what is he going to do here? I do he's going to get locked down because Jacoby Brissett's only going to look towards Amari Cooper. They let Rashad Higgins go. Where'd he go sign at? Carolina. He's down there with Baker. Our two playmakers, besides the running backs, through the air, our two playmakers are in Carolina. Another one's in New Orleans, and another one is in Los Angeles. Now, was Odell Beckham that good when he was here? Yeah. Was he more of a distraction, not in the locker room, but to the secondary of opposing players? Absolutely. That's why Higgins and Landry were able to go out there and make those plays, get those yards, those touchdowns. Because they were locking down OBJ. Everybody was scared of what OBJ was going to do. They weren't even focused that Jarvis Landry was right on the other side. I would say almost an equally as good wide receiver. I would take Jarvis over Odell Beckham any day. I know a lot of you wouldn't. A lot of you want the Browns to re-sign Odell. Okay. Well, what happens there if the Browns re-sign Odell? Same thing with Amari Cooper. They don't have a quarterback throwing to him because right now our quarterback is sitting next to the secretary waiting on the principal and the vice principal to make a decision whether or not he's going to be suspended for 1 day or suspended for 3 days or a 2 week suspension. Right now, he's sitting in the office while his parents are in the office talking with the principal and vice principal. And he's sitting there like, whatever. And this is probably the same exact mindset that he has. Whatever. I get a day off. I get 3 days off. I get 2 weeks off. I can play video games. I can chill. I can watch TV. I can sleep in. Huh. No big deal. That's what Deshaun Watson's thinking right now. No big deal. No big deal. I got paid. I'm good, man. That's guaranteed cash. That's already sitting in the bank, bro. So it really comes down to do what do we think we can do at quarterback? Do you think Jacoby Brissett has what it takes to win games? Yeah, we've seen it. We've seen it happen in Indianapolis. We saw it happen in New England. But can he do it in brown and orange? Can he do it at First Energy Stadium? That's what I want to see. Because where do you go? Where do you go? Everybody's saying the Baker Mayfield trade was the first step to starting over, starting off fresh. Which I agree. Okay, you get Baker out of there. A lot less talk. What's Baker going to do? Media kind of goes off of that, but you still have Deshaun Watson. You still don't have a quarterback. That's what I'm trying to get at. We don't have a quarterback in Cleveland. Jacoby Brissett is a fantastic backup quarterback, but he is not the future of the Cleveland Browns. Deshaun Watson, if he is suspended 2 games, yeah, we can absolutely salvage that season. If he's suspended 4 games, absolutely we salvage that season. Anything more than that, you get a 6-game suspension going, possibly wild card, possibly playoffs. I mean, the Bengals were in the Super Bowl last year. Kind of tough in the AFC North. We don't know what's going on with Lamar Jackson. What is Lamar Jackson doing? What are the Ravens doing? He just changed his Instagram profile picture, his banner on Twitter to some girls. I need money. We'll see what's going on there. But for right now, we have our own circus going on in Cleveland. Something that every Browns fan, no matter what age, whether you are 89 years old about to celebrate your 90th birthday, or you're an 8-year-old kid in elementary school playing football on the field, we've all seen it. We all know how it goes. There's always next year. I thought next year was now. I thought next year was now when we got Jarvis Landry. The Dolphins traded him to Cleveland for pretty much nothing. Almost the same way that the Browns got rid of Baker Mayfield. And then we go and we trade for Odell Beckham. Jabril Peppers, hey, he's having fun in New York. We thought we were going to have fun with Odell in Cleveland. It seemed to start out that way. Somewhere down the line, it turned into, well, Odell's not happy. Odell's not happy with the front office. Odell's not happy with players. Odell's not happy with coaches. So, this Baker Mayfield trade, the quarterback situation, the holes at wide receiver, these are not anything new to Browns fans. And the fact that I am so numb to this is infuriating to me because I think the city of Cleveland deserves winners, right? We shouldn't have to rely on LeBron James to bring any sort of medal into this city. But we did. And Browns fans are the most passionate fans in the NFL. You can say Packers fans are more passionate. You can say Saints fans. You can say Cowboys fans. Sorry, Brendan. But you're not. Because you haven't gone year after 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 year with the same clown show with a different ringleader and a different promoter. It's the same thing. It's literally like the circle of life. You know, another coach comes in as another coach is dying, and they go through the same exact motions as the other one. We switch GMs all the time. I don't know. This went from Baker Mayfield being traded news to me just letting out my frustration on this organization. Brendan's not here. Brendan's normally the one that's like, all right, we got 5 minutes left. Brendan's not here. This is the Ethan show today. So I get to rant rave a little bit. And as you've seen in previous episodes, I'll get on a roll, and all of a sudden, wait a second. What was I talking about? Oh, I was talking about the Tampa Bay Rays. Okay, how did I get on Australian wildlife? It's pretty wild. But moving on from the Baker Mayfield, not even the Baker Mayfield situation, the Cleveland Browns situation that has all of us feeling like, once again, here we go. Major League Baseball. The All Star Game is coming up here in a few days. Jose Ramirez is an All Star. Go figure. But he's not a starter. I'll read off the All Stars for the American League. Alejandro Kirk from the Blue Jays is the starting catcher, starting first baseman. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. from the Blue Jays. Starting second baseman, Jose Altuve from the Asterix. I feel like that's one that they just voted him in purely off of his name and popularity down there. Jose Altuve, extremely overrated player, I think. He's good, but I don't think he stands... he doesn't stand up there as tall as some of the other players in this league. Third base, Rafael Devers, Boston Red Sox. Should be Jose Ramirez. Jose Ramirez is having an MVP season right now. I haven't been keeping track of the Guardians. Wow. Whoops. Baseball club. I haven't been keeping track of the Cleveland Baseball Club this year. I've just been keeping an eye on it. Obviously, living in Northeast Ohio, you hear a few things. But I'm not watching those games. But I'm keeping an eye on Jose. There's a couple other guys I'm keeping an eye on. Just because, you know, one of those habits that die hard. Shortstop, Tim Anderson, White Sox. He's having a fantastic season. The White Sox are on fire this year. And we all kind of knew this was going to happen. especially when they went out there and they were making those moves in the offseason the past few years. We all knew that was going to happen. They're looking like a World Series team. In the outfield, you have Aaron Judge. Once again, go figure. No Doy. Mike Trout, no brainer. I mean, I don't think he'll ever miss an All Star game in his career. Then you have Giancarlo Stanton, aka Mike Stanton. Yes, he did change his name from Mike. Mike, obviously, just a Yankees guy. They they tend to get voted in there. They tend to get the votes. And then at DH, you have Shohei Ohtani, another fantastic player. He's going to DH, then he's going to go in and pitch, as he should. He's exciting to watch. That's your starting American League lineup for the All Star game. Makes sense. You got some new guys in there that are exciting. You got some of the same old names that are always in there: Jose Altuve, Mike Trout, Aaron Judge. But one very cool thing that they're doing this season, or this All Star game this year, is they're having legacy players for each team. That means one legend that's still playing in the game who didn't get voted in and it's his last season, he's going to retire. He gets to play one more All Star game. Not because he played well this season, but just on the fact that he is who he is and what he has done for the game of baseball. I really like that. That is a smart decision on Major League Baseball's part. That is that is very smart. I think they should have made him like the team captain, or if they did, um, I'm not too sure. But I like that. That is just a very classy thing. So here we go with the National League. National League, we have catching Travis D'Arnaud from the Braves. I probably botched that. Botched that very bad. In the infield, they have Arenado from the Cardinals, Pete Alonso from the Mets, Jeff McNeil from the Mets, C.J. Cron from the Rockies, Dansby Swanson from the Braves, and in the outfield, a man I love to hate, Kyle Schwarber, Juan Soto, and Starling Marte. And also Ian Happ from the Cubs. And on DH, they have William Contreras from the Braves and oh, yes, and Garrett Cooper from the Marlins as a injury replacement for the highly overrated Bryce Harper. And on their legacy player is Albert Pujols of the Cardinals. Once again, another player who deserves it. First ballot Hall of Famer, no doubt about it. Albert Pujols, everybody loved the guy. I mean, how can you dislike a legend like that? A fantastic first baseman, spent most of his career in St. Louis, then obviously hopped over to the Angels when they were trying to build that World Series team that, I mean, they got to be cursed over there because they had a stacked team. Reminds me of the Cleveland Browns with that stacked team they put together in 2019. But those are your starters for the National League in the All Star Game, the 2022 All Star Game in Los Angeles, California, at Dodger Stadium. Now, on the reserves, I just went over their reserves. Duh. Yeah, that's I'm I'm kind of lost without Brendan, as you can tell. Takes two to make a thing go right, and he's the organized one. I'm the hot take guy. I'm the one coming in with the hot takes, the quick jabs. I'm the color man. He's the play-by-play announcer. I'm the color analyst that comes in and drops a couple quick, witty, funny facts. That's the best way to put it. He's the stat guy. So moving on to my segment here. This day in sports history, presented by KentStagePosters.com. That's KentStagePosters.com. This day in sports history, July 13th, 1994. Orenthal James Simpson gives hair and DNA samples for testing to the Los Angeles Police Department. Now, if you don't know by now, Orenthal James Simpson was, in fact, the main suspect in the murder of his ex wife, Nicole Brown Simpson, and her friend, waiter, Ron Goldberg. Ron Goldman. Ron Goldman. Botched that one. Botched it! Well, that's all I have today. God bless. Stay blessed.